Now, I know both my daughters are really adamant about this, and absolutely, when I say they don't limit screen time, there is no screen time. They don't give them devices. My grandkids are 11, 9, 6 and 2.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing. They're just not allowed. They also watch very limited telly.
Right.
You know, I used to let them watch telly all the time.
Yeah.
And that's because they just can't bear to expose them to the potential danger of absolutely anyone, masquerading as absolutely anything, upsetting them, agitating them, giving them information they're too young to process, disturbing them, and the whole notion that they might not be able to unsee something completely unsuitable, not just porn, but, you know, self-harming or anorexia footage or absolutely anything that would jolt them and agitate them and thoroughly destroy their innocence and their sweetness. And I'm not boasting. I'm amazed that my girls managed to do this, but they do.
Yeah, I'm amazed.
They really do.
Hats off.
Hats off. And what they do instead, it's really true, they read a hell of a lot. They seem to bake, do crafts and read.
I love it.
Can
they come to my house?
Pleasure. But the point is, I suppose you could say it can be done, but you could also say my oldest grandchild's only 11. So what happens when he gets older? And it's a damn good question.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the influence?
Well, I mean, we have screens at home, mostly for the car. So I let them watch, you know, kids' YouTube where it's all contained. So they're watching cartoons, and that keeps them quiet. We're on long journeys.
Yeah.
And if I had the patience not to let them have it at home, then great. But I don't. But when it comes to social media, I think that's a completely different thing. And I'm with your girls 100%. And I'm not a strict parent in any sense. But, you know, when social media first came out, we didn't know what its effects were. But now there are loads of studies of seeing what it does, and particularly to girls, but while their brains are developing. And I think the public just isn't as aware of what's going on social media as we probably should be.
Yes.
So through the anti-Semitism work, I'm actually an ambassador for something called Centre for Countering Digital Hate, and they do in-depth research on the social media companies, on what their policies are versus what's happening. And a study they did about 3 years ago found on TikTok particularly, if you pause on some content that's about self-harm or negative body image, it takes them less than 3 minutes to give you more of that.
Absolutely.
And suicide content, you know, eating disorders, all kinds of really bad things. And I guess we're all in our little bubble with our algorithms, sending you what you want. But if you're a vulnerable teenager and you pause on this thing, you're just going to get bombarded with it. And
I mean, there's every possibility, I think, that adolescence, that extraordinary Netflix drama, which so many, I think it's more than 25 million people have watched, might do the trick and might just wake people up to the idea that, you know, you think your child's alone in their bedroom, what harm can possibly come to them? They're under your roof, you know, you've tucked them in, you know, they're under their, you know, Donald Duck duvet cover. How can anything bad happen? It's not true anymore. If you've got access to a smartphone, absolutely anybody and anything could be targeting them. And I think people are waking up to this. You have 2. You're a single mum. It's a big deal, obviously, and something that's very concerning and very exhausting and also very fulfilling. It's all of those things.
Yeah.
How old are they? And how concerned are you about them and social media?
My daughter's 15 and my son is 13. He's about to be 14. So they're just 17 months apart.
We're looking at pictures of them looking gorgeous.
Yeah. They would kill me. They're at that age now where it's like, you have to have permission to take their photo. They don't want me to post anything. So that was about a year ago. I think that we were in Hawaii for their spring break on vacation. But social media, they're not huge into social media, thank goodness. They both have Instagram accounts, but I'm very, you know, much of a hawk. I see who their followers are. It's mostly their friends. I think both of their accounts are private. And they don't really post much. You know,
you got a dream. You got the dream.
Are you worried about what they might be receiving, what they might be looking at when you're not looking, about, you know, all that kind of side of life?
Yeah, I mean, they're such good kids, and I'm going to pat myself on the back. I've done a really good job of like teaching them what to watch out for, and what, you know, we're huge on like internet predators, and like I did a class on trafficking and like all of the different types of things.
Did you? Wow.
Yeah, there's
What a good idea.
There's just so much that parents don't think of. You think of like sex trafficking or children trafficking, somebody in a white van offering candy to a child. That's not how it works. That's not.
So tell us how does it work now?
I mean, people pose as, you know, other kids online when they're playing video games, or whether they're just a lot of kids sell their clothes online, like Snapchat and different forms of. They're trading clothes and selling clothes, and there's so many people that pose as young kids. And that's where people really can get into trouble. There's multiple other.
So you've done a terrific thing in going to a class to equip yourself with the information so that you can then inform your children.
Yeah, it's
very
just,
probably
it's
we
so...
need a whole lot of those over here, Rachel, don't we?
I think we need help, don't we? Because the social media companies, they're there to keep us online, to get us addicted. Because the longer we're online, the more ads they can show us, and the more money they're taking.
Absolutely.
And we don't know the half of.
But what we do know is that the social media bosses are forever giving interviews saying they don't let their kids anywhere near.
Nobody.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Mike Zuckerberg doesn't have his kids
There's
having a
been
good
a
look. Jeff
whole-
Bezos' kids weren't allowed to look. It's just our poor old kids who are there getting the ads sent to them, and all the nasty stuff that you say within 3 minutes of looking at a really revolting video.
Yeah,
you get more and more and more sent to you. Let's go to the phones, which have really absolutely lit up with this subject, and thank you so much for calling today. Let's go to Helen in Warwickshire. Helen, what do you think about this one?
I'm very, very much against children being allowed onto the social media. And I really do think that we are complicit, if we allow them, we are complicit in the abuse that they are suffering. So do not abuse your children. Find out as much as you can. Do not allow them to have anything to do with the social media till they're 16 or so, when they can think for a little bit more for themselves. It's our job to care for our children, to look after them, to keep them safe. And by allowing them to have social media, you are throwing them to the wolves.
I mean, I get every word you say, Helen, only I think that what lots of parents feel about this is, number one, it's Pandora's box. You know, you can't put the lid on it when it's already there and out there. But number two, their children will be socially isolated. They'll be sort of pariahs. They won't know what's going on. They'll be living this peculiarly weird life when everybody else is doing something that they're excluded from doing. What would you say about that, Helen?
Not if all parents get together. If you can band together to keep certain things from your children, or to take your children a certain way, for instance, into sport. Look at the parents that are involved in sport with their children. Why can't we do that where the harm is? If we can do it for where the good things are, why can't we do it for where the harm is? And band together and say, no, none of you are going to go on social media until you're 16 or so.
See, I'm with Helen.
I love Helen.
I am Helen. She is me. I am her. I totally get this.
I mean,
but you two are sitting there. You're much younger than us, evidently, although Helen sounds very young on the television, definitely. What's your take, Rachel, first, and then you, Amanda?
I love Helen. I think this is a great opportunity. If Australia is actually doing this, we're going to have real data. We're going to see what these kids were like when they were on social media and afterwards. There was a study they just did in Norway. A school banned social media, and the incidence of mental health consultations went down. The incidence of bullying went down. The grades and the maths results went up. So I think this is a really interesting opportunity, and it's absolutely right. You can't do it to that one kid, because that one kid's going to be like, why am I the only one?
You've obviously, taken steps. You've really armed yourself, equipped yourself with the best possible means of protecting your own children. Could you imagine what would happen if you said to them, that's it, no more social media till you're 16?
I mean, honestly, I think it's per household, right? Like my kids, they're really not on it that much. Right. I think maybe Snapchat. If I took away Snapchat, I think they would freak out, because that's like their form of texting.
Yeah.
They really don't text it anymore. It's like, it's all Snapchat, but it goes away. It's like you can say anything on Snapchat. It goes away within, I think, 24 hours.
The messages don't stick around. They evaporate
But they're not huge on like Instagram and TikTok.
That's for oldies.
Huge, so my kids it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I'm only one
Absolutely.
household.
Let's go to George in Dorset. Hi, George. You've got strong views on this one too. Hi.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Well, yes, I do believe it should be banned for them until they're at least 15. What we have to remember is we cannot make children, kind of make them illiterate. They have to be literate where computers and things like that is concerned. But when you have, I don't know how many, but a lot of parents, they're not irresponsible. They just don't understand or don't see what they're doing. They put the phones down, the children see them. There's been young children I've even seen some of these pictures that children show each other, and they're the most disgusting pictures you've ever seen in your life. And they grow up like this with all these games and swearing on, I'm sorry about the TV, but swearing on the television. And the problem is parents allow their children, or it becomes part of society. They just do it.
Well,
So
there's no question. You're quite right. It has become the norm. It really has. And if
It
you
just-
were the
yeah.
and if you were the parent who stood up against it, it'd be like being the crazy parent of that weird family where they didn't have a television, and there was always one poor kid in the class who didn't know what you were talking about when you said Cracker Jack or Blue Peach or whatever, because they didn't have a television. They were just forced to make
Ransom
toys
fact,
out of old flannels or something. Nobody,
Common sense. I'm assuming those are pretty popular shows.
George, yeah, very popular. George, thank you. Let's go to Tom in 5. Tom, you've got a different view. Thanks for calling.
Yes, I actually believe it's the parents' fault. Who pays for their internet connections? Who pays for their up-to-date phones?
Well, the
I've got a phone,
parents pay for the phones, but I think the feeling among lots of parents is they've almost got no choice, Tom. You know, if they don't do it, their kids will be socially isolated. They'll be the peculiar ones. They don't want their kid to be the one that doesn't get invited or gets left out. It's that type of, it's peer pressure, isn't it?
No, but you can actually put filters on your phone. I've got a filter. I actually have a contract phone, and I've got to go through a lot of questionnaires to actually allow me to. I don't look at anything dodgy like that, Miss Phelps.
Listen, I'm not your mother. You can look at whatever you like. I'm not policing you, Tom. You sound like an adult to me. I wouldn't judge you if you did.
No, I was brought up, not dragged up. I use people's surnames until they tell me otherwise. But I believe it's the parents' fault. If you give a kid a phone and you allow them access when you can actually go into, I don't know if I like to actually say the company I'm with or not. It's a major company in the UK, and I've got to go. To play games, I've got to actually give lots of different passwords and everything.
I don't know why Tom's being sort of bossed about by his phone company in this way. He sounds like a grown-up who could probably make his own decisions. Tom, thanks so much for ringing. Let's go to Becky in Nottinghamshire. Becky, what do you think?
I like my kids on social media. I think most adults are worse than children, actually.
And when you say worse, do you mean more addicted or less able to put the phone down and just staring at the screen all the time? Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, both ways, and bullying and...
Oh, that adults are bullying to other adults. Well, Rachel's certainly the recipient of a hell of a lot of that the whole time. It's true, and I bet you've had some pretty nasty comments too, haven't you, in addition to the admiration and the fans. I mean, as soon as you're kind of out there, it can be absolutely hideous, right?
Yeah, people are very brave behind a computer screen or, sitting at home typing away. I don't receive a ton of negativity, but I do read it, and it's just...
Does it get to you? Does it upset you?
Not me. I'm not that. I'm pretty thick-skinned, and I know myself pretty well to know that they're just people just venting.
All right. Question: why do you read it?
Because it doesn't get to me. If it were something that I have a dear friend on the show, and it gets to her, and I say stop reading the comments because it really does get to her. I think if you're someone who it does bother, you should just absolutely not read it.
I think it's different for us because we don't know anyone that's saying these things. But we were lucky that when we were at school, you go home from school and you're in the safety of your home. Yeah. You're not, on social media, and it's when you get, it's bullying with people that you know that's, can be really upsetting.
Well, it's this
I'm grateful I didn't have
as a child, it never stops. It's 24 hours a day. The phone at the end of your hand, virtually connected umbilically to you, like any other body part. You can't put it down. You can't stop staring at it. You're reliant on the dopamine. I mean, Saskia's coming in a minute. She will, explain a bit more about what it does to your brain, this kind of addiction to the phone. But we're all doing it. We do it the whole time. How many of us reach for it the very first thing before we're even awake? You're already feeling for the phone to see if anybody's sent you a flipping message. It's absolutely absurd, but almost irresistible. And it's built to be like that by geniuses in Silicon Valley.
I mean, it's all about money, isn't it? So there is like an amazing opportunity for someone if they want to develop, a healthy social media that kids can go on that isn't going to send them harmful material, that's going to protect them from predators or the rest of it. I mean, there's money in that. Come on, guys, get out there, make something useful.